This presentation will cover basic information regarding the rights of students and the responsibility of public schools when addressing issues concerning these rights. It can be a complicated process to ensure that students' rights are protected while at the same time maintaining the responsibility for the care and control of student welfare. Blochius et al. Acknowledged, at common law, they must protect their students from harm and they must prevent their students from doing harm. The first section of this presentation will consider some of the common scenarios that schools must address when disciplining students and the laws that must be followed when doing so. There are a multitude of issues in student discipline in the public school setting that must be addressed through the proper disciplinary procedure. Each situation is individual, and a school official must choose the proper means of discipline for each particular situation. Being familiar with the legal parameters of student discipline is essential for school personnel. Some of those issues are listed on this slide, and school personnel must be cognizant of whether the situation merits the disciplinary action or not. In most instances, school personnel must have probable cause to act on their suspicion of student behavior. The basis for this is the Fourth Amendment, which provides individuals with protection from unreasonable searches and seizures. In the cases which are exceptions, there are various situations when searches can occur without a warrant. The first is called exigent circumstances, which means pressing or urgent. A second scenario is when illegal items are in plain view. Valid consent is when someone freely permits a search. Waivers are given knowingly and intelligently. Finally, parental consent is similar to a waiver, meaning that consent must be given knowingly. It is important to remember that public school officials are not required to have warrants when a student has violated school rules or committed a criminal act. The situations on this slide have different requirements for action and discipline. Drug testing is permitted by courts if there is individualized suspicion, because the purpose of a school is to assist in the safety and well-being of students. Due to the increased concern posed by student possession of weapons and drugs, the use of metal detectors and sniffer dogs are considered valid searches. Strip searches have limited use and require clear evidence of the need to search a student. Surveillance cameras have become much more common in schools and do not violate the Fourth Amendment. However, there are limits to where they can be placed, such as bathrooms and locker rooms. A separate slide has been devoted to the topic of personal electronic devices because they've become an ongoing issue in the public school system, and it is a challenge to create a reasonable policy that is designed to prevent distractions in the educational process, potentially compromising academic dishonesty and violating the privacy of others. Most importantly, devices can be confiscated by school personnel, but they may not be searched without a reasonable suspicion. The next section of this presentation addresses common issues of equal education opportunities. This is still a topic in need of clarification because equality in education has been the subject of more litigation than any other educational issue. One of the main responsibilities of public schools, in addition to education for all, is the custody and care of students by public school officials, since students are legal minors. In 2015, President Obama signed the Every Student Succeeds Act, which focused on the equality in education for all students, regardless of race, income, home language, or disability. The focus was to ensure high academic standards and career readiness for every student in public education, including the disadvantaged or high-needs students. Discrimination has been an issue in education for many years, and although the Equal Protection Clause prohibits overt and covert segregation, conditions outside of the government's control, such as students attending the schools within their neighborhood that are segregated for reasons other than governmental action, can fall outside of that clause. Within any school, issues that challenge equal education can be standardized testing, tracking and ability grouping, and student grouping policies. The last category is students who are subject to more disciplinary actions that impact their academic achievement. This results from missing work when students are out of class or out of school due to suspensions. We have seen in this presentation that many challenges exist in the public school system. While protecting the rights of students, school officials are also required to protect the safety of students. In addition, schools must ensure that all receive the equal opportunities that our country was founded on. Providing the right to a safe and equal education is one of those basic rights.